Sipho,
Hey,
welcome back to the Redbull studio, Cape Town.
thank you for the Redbull Studios. What a lovely space.
Yeah, you remember from last time?
Yes,
3
I
years
remember
ago.
it. Yes, there were quite a number of young people here as well. It was very, very nice.
I want to jump straight into the interview by asking you how you have the nickname Hotstix.
I used to be a drummer. I still play a bit, but not as much as I used to. And I had played a drum solo for about 30 minutes when the power went off with Harare. And what happened is one of the musicians, Kondrizi Kubu, came onto the stage after that and said, "Wow, Hotstix, your sticks are hot." And that's how the name came about.
Nice. Tell us about Harare. What time was the group formed? How old were you when the group formed?
Well, you know, I started playing with a band called the Beaters at high school. That was in the late 60s, 68. We formed a band, you know, just out of recreation. And 10 years down the line, as we were touring, we went to Zimbabwe. Then it was known as Rhodesia. And we took a liking to the people of Harare. And we changed our name from, it was the same group, we changed our name from the Beaters to Harare. And we were inspired and motivated by Steve Biko with the Black Consciousness movement.
And you had to drop out of school?
I had to drop out at school. We didn't even realize that we were dropping out of school. And before we even realized that, hey, we were supposed to have written our matric, we were already out there touring and we had not written our matric. And then everything just came to a standstill about our schooling.
And then in the 80s, well, when did you become a solo musician?
It was about 1983. 83, I decided to go solo. And of course, the big one came. Burnout.
Yeah. And you produced it as well?
I produced, I wrote, I played, and, you know, did everything on the song.
And tell us about Burnout. It was an unusual song in terms of the time in South Africa. It was very popular, but...
Frankly, when I wrote that song, I didn't even realize that it would have the kind of impact that it had. I wanted to write crossover songs, but Burnout didn't really occur to me that it was going to be a crossover song, and I wrote it. And of course, the song just created mayhem, and everybody was just crazy about the song.
People have covered and done remixes of the song.
Yes.
Are there any that you really like?
I always believe that when people cover your song, it's almost like honor. In a way, people love to do the song. Most of them really have been fantastic.
This kind of leads me to the music exchange. This is kind of the idea of a music conference. It's an opportunity for people who are finding their way and learning from experience in the music industry to just pick up knowledge and give them a head start.
Yes, the music exchange program conference is one of the most critical, you know, music industry programs that we started three years ago. And frankly, for us, this is about giving back to the young people to empower them. What is copyright? How do you make your money? Needle time and all those things. We've assembled in fact, the top brass at Samro. They are all coming down.
What do you think of the revolution that's happening in electronic music with house music and its roots and influences in a lot of the music that I think you created in the 80s?
Well, I've always been a firm believer in, you know, every generation has its own.
How do you feel about some young electronic house music producers working with you and remixing or recreating some of your old music?
I'm really looking forward to doing something like that. And I know that there's so much talent out there, and I believe that there are young people who really want to work with some of the music that I've done. And I strongly believe a song like Jav Soweto for me would be a masterpiece. Because of the nature of the grooves, younger people would come in and give it a new feel to it, new grooves, maybe change the tempo, and some of the electronic stuff that will just make it hip and new. And wow, more royalties for us.
Sipho, thank you so much for coming to the Redbull studio again and sharing your experiences. It's so invaluable.
Thank you for the energy, you know.
Absolutely.
Besides drinking a Red Bull, I've just gotten all this energy as I come through here.
We exude it in the air.
I know. It's.
When can we see you at Music Exchange?
I'm coming back to Cape Town on the 20th, but Music Exchange begins on the 21st and the 22nd. And remember, the 21st is, we've chosen this special day because it's a Human Rights Day. And we want to use that as well, just to highlight some of the most important issues around this country. Music is an extension of who we are. And if we're not going to use these kind of platforms to even address beyond music, then we would be failing ourselves even, you know, in actually doing exactly what we set out to do.